Hello, I'm JavierHernandez. So today we're going to speak a little about injuries in sports, specifically cheerleading and football. Just a quick history background cheer. The first recorded one was around 1877 at Princeton University. It just started with a group of fans in the stand, and they pretty much started cheering on their home team, and from there, kind of, the key word, or they coined the word cheerleader. When it first originated, it was actually an all-male activity, which is a little different than what the stereotype is today. And it wasn't until 1923 when the men started to go off to war for World War I, World War II, when women were finally kind of introduced, and from there they kind of just took over. Speaking about stereotypes, when we hear stereotypes of a cheerleader, we think about girls with pom-poms, megaphones, clapping, skirts, stuff like that. And the American Association of Cheerleading Coaches and Administration states that 97% of cheerleaders from club to collegiate are all female. However, in the collegiate division of those cheerleaders, 50% are actually co-ed, meaning that boys and girls both participate. And then also sports such as football, when you kind of think of them, you think of these big guys, big muscular guys running around the field. It's a hard-hitting, adrenaline-pumping sport. However, they kind of are similar. They both require some athleticism to run around, throw people, tumble, catch a ball, run through players, etc. They both are a team event. You can't go out there and do one by itself. A cheerleader, sure, she could probably go out there, but the more you have, the louder you're going to be. As well as football, you need at least 11 people on the side. Both do require physical contact. Football, you're tackling people and running over people. And cheer, although the stereotype you don't really think of it, now it's more of an acrobatic show. You're tossing people, building human pyramids, tumbling, things such as that. So with both of them, there is a risk for injury. Cheer, you're throwing people how many feet in the air, and then in football, you're tackling. So there's always that risk for injury. Some differences, however, there's like the setting, the surroundings. Football, they're on some type of turf, whether it be grass or artificial grass. When they land, they get tackled. It's going to be a hard hit, but they're kind of landing on a soft material. Whereas cheerleaders usually are like on a track or basketball court, so if they land, they're pretty much hitting dead floor. There's nothing to absorb it. Also the protection. Football players wear football pads, helmets, knee pads, on and on and on. Whereas cheerleaders pretty much just have a basic uniform where it's just pretty much clothes, so there's nothing to help their landing if they do fall. Some statistics of injury. The U.S. Sports Academy states that cheerleading is the #1 catastrophic injury for females, and it is #2 overall in catastrophic injuries, followed by football. And these kind of include wrist, ankle injuries, blown out knees, and sometimes worst cases like broken necks or ruptured vertebrae. So the research actually says that 65.2% of all catastrophic injuries in sports from youth to collegiate are from cheer. So just to kind of give you a little picture of that, so that's almost 2/3 of all sports. That's including football, basketball, baseball, hockey, so pretty much any other sport. So this big section right here is all cheer. So cheer-related injuries, whether it may be a sprained ankle or a broken arm, and then the rest, this little black area over here, is the rest of all those sports. So that could just be because of rules and regulations and the way they pertain. So what I'm saying is, when you look at a cheerleader, try to think of more than just somebody on the sideline kind of cheering on the home team. Instead, kind of watch for what they're doing more. Some people think of that stereotype and they don't consider that they are tumbling on hard floor and throwing people 15 feet up in the air, or holding them, with one arm. Cheer isn't really considered a sport, but football is, and they have way more protection. So that being said, all sports are dangerous, and they all do pose that risk of injury. Thanks for listening.